Auckland Council member Efeso Collins says it's time to axe the crime show Police 10-7, saying it feeds racial stereotypes. He took offence to a recent ad that predominantly showed young brown people and has called for TVNZ to act as a responsible broadcaster. Efeso Collins says it gives the impression that these people are brutes and thugs, and this is what people are going to be entertained with. Graham Bell is a former police officer and former host of Police 10-7. He joins me now. Very good morning to you, Graham.
Good morning, Kerre.
I've just had a look at recent episodes and they show the most wanted, the mugshots, and they're not all Māori at all. It looks like 50-50 Caucasian and 50-50 Māori. Is the show racist or is it just looking for criminals?
It's just looking for criminals. It's, threatening to do away with 10-7 is not going to... crime and all its unfortunate, uncomfortable and unfortunate truths are not going to disappear if they get rid of 10-7, are they?
No, that's exactly right.
We need to face and accept that there's a problem instead of looking for ways to hide from it. That's my approach.
So with showing, how do you decide what gets shown on 10-7?
Well, it's basically... The police don't select who they're looking for. The people that commit the crimes are the ones that select themselves to be sought.
Yeah.
So, let's get that out of the way right from the outset. There is no bias towards any colour, race, creed, or any other type of person. It's just whoever's wanted today is who goes on the show. It's as simple as that.
When it comes to your time in the police service, did you find that there was an inherent mistrust towards Māori or Pacifica people because they were overrepresented in the crime stats?
Look, that is a really difficult one. I think that it's very difficult not to develop a slight attitude to a group of people that are constantly offending. And, people have, they wear labels unconsciously. I can spot a criminal from 100 yards away. And, people say that I'm biased in my view of those people, but the fact of the matter is I know how they present, I know what drives them, and I recognise them. And I think police officers develop that. And it's an unfortunate fact that certain sectors of our society are grossly overrepresented or in the crime statistics. And, I don't have the answer for that, but I think cancelling a show like Police 10-7 is not going to help.
I still remember when I opened the show when I was doing nights, the police were looking for two young men in relation to the murder of Beverly Boma, and they'd put out descriptions of them. And a man rang me incensed and said, why hadn't they put Māori in there? Because he bet his bottom dollar that the kids who were wanted were Māori. And it hadn't, there was no, they hadn't put what ethnicity these boys might be. But I said to him, I don't know if they're Māori or not, but I know for a fact they'll be men. And yet we don't treat all men as potential criminals, rapists and murderers.
No, we don't. And these issues of racism is a very easy label to apply. Yeah. And it's often applied erroneously or mischievously. And it's when people start applying it mischievously to try and perhaps excuse bad behaviour by a group of people, it becomes a real problem. Police work is tough. It requires courage and persistence in the face of a lot of criticism. And this sort of criticism that's floating around at the moment is far from helpful, you have to say.
Oh, look, honestly, the police have been under fire, it seems, for the better part of a year. And they're having the tools to police taken away from them as well.
Yes, well, I would argue that Mr. Collins is approaching this from the wrong end. I mean, perhaps he should be looking at why we've got this problem in our society. I mean, does he want the police to ignore crime if it's committed by brown people?
Possibly so.
Well, does he? I mean, I'm beginning to think that there are people that do want that. And how counterproductive could that be for our whole society? I mean, things are getting worse, and there's no question about it. I don't know where we're going with all of this, but we really need to focus on what is the social issues behind all this crime. And saying that the police have a bias towards brown people, or saying that, or trying to pretend that brown people are not overrepresentative or not figures aren't heavily biased towards them, is just ignoring cold, hard, uncomfortable truths.
If the police were inherently racist as an institution, wouldn't they be arresting Chinese and Indians as well, and South Africans?
Well, I guess the short answer is they are, of course,
Yeah, that's
doing
true.
that.
That's true.
And as I said earlier, the police don't select who commits the crimes. The police have to deal with the people who present themselves. And if the police are driving down the road, and someone jumps out in front of them and starts abusing them, if they're brown, should they just ignore that and carry on? I mean, the police don't select the people they have to deal with. They have to deal with whoever presents themselves. And sadly, we've got these issues going on in our society. I don't know what the answer is. Do you, Kerre?
If I did, I'd run for Parliament and make a difference. But no, I don't. I mean, I think you have to start with the families, and you have to start with the next generation of kids who have grown up without any kind of moral compass or any kind of aspirational worldview.
That there lies the problem. There have been generations of familial inadequacies displayed by sectors of our society that have created a lack of aspiration, a lack of self-worth, a lack of self-respect, and we see it everywhere. And it's not only in crime. I mean, we see it right through society. I'm actually currently, unfortunately, experiencing the health system quite a bit, and I see it there too. It's just there are sectors of our society who are overrepresented in our statistics, and everybody in society would be better off if that were not the case.
I couldn't agree more, and I thank you for your time, Graham, and good luck in your health battles.